In a single, shattering moment, Amira Hussein's world collapsed. 17 weeks pregnant, she tumbled from the jagged heights of Arthur's Seat, her body slamming against the rocks below. As life slipped away, her voice, raw and desperate, cut through the chaos. "Don't let my husband near me. He pushed me." Those words, whispered to a stranger and a police officer, became the spark that would unravel Imran Khan's lies. How could a man sworn to protect his wife and unborn child betray them so brutally? Welcome to our channel, where we uncover the darkest truths hidden in plain sight. Thanks for your support. Stay tuned for daily true crime stories that expose the monsters among us. If Amira's final act of courage moves you, don't let her voice fade into silence. Hit that like button now and join our community of truth seekers. Amira Hussein was duty personified, born into a close-knit family in Leeds on September 4, 1989. As the eldest child, she stepped up early, helping her parents navigate the challenges of immigrant life. Her father worked long hours in a factory. Her mother managed the home. Money was tight, dreams deferred. But Amira shone bright. She excelled in school, her sharp mind drawn to justice. By her 20s, she had qualified as an employment lawyer, fighting for workers' rights in a world that often overlooked them. Colleagues remembered her as kind, driven, always ready with a smile or sound advice. At home, she was the glue, cooking meals, sorting bills, dreaming of a stable life where her own family could thrive without the worries that kept her parents awake at night. Marriage, to Amira, meant partnership, a shared path forward. She wanted love built on trust, not chains. Imran Khan, on the other hand, wore charm like a second skin. Born in 1994, also in Leeds, he grew up in a bustling household where expectations ran high. His family pushed education, but Imran preferred shortcuts. He trained as an optical assistant, fitting glasses in a local shop, but stability eluded him. Debts piled up. Loans for bets on football matches, late-night card games that promised quick wins but delivered losses. Friends saw him as outgoing, quick with jokes, the guy who could talk his way out of trouble. But beneath that easy grin lurked insecurity, a need to control. Past relationships hinted at volatility, arguments that escalated, partners who walked away quietly. Imran craved respect, the image of a successful man, even if it meant hiding failures behind bravado. Their worlds collided through family ties, an arranged introduction that blossomed into what Amira hoped was fate. They met in early 2020, sparks flying over shared cultural roots and laughter. Imran swept her off her feet with grand gestures, flowers, promises of adventure. To her, it felt like destiny arriving right on time. To him, it was opportunity. They tied the knot in an Islamic ceremony on December 25, 2020, amid family cheers and hopeful toasts. Amira moved into his Pudsey home, envisioning a future filled with joy. But cracks appeared fast. What kind of husband demands obedience like a debt owed? Early bliss faded as Imran's mask slipped. He monitored her phone, questioned every outing. "You're mine now," he'd say, his tone shifting from sweet to sharp. Amira, strong-willed, pushed back gently at first, but tensions boiled. In April 2021, just months into marriage, an argument exploded. Imran grabbed her, slamming her head against a wall until she blacked out. She woke, dazed, terrified. Days later, he smothered her with a pillow, his rage unchecked. Amira fled to her parents' house, heart pounding, and reported it to West Yorkshire Police. Officers noted her bruises, her fear. She got a safety plan, a secret code with her mother, Leena Patel. Text, "I feel like cream cakes," if danger loomed. Imran apologized, swore change. Amira, torn between love and logic, returned, hoping for the man she thought she married. But the darkness deepened. Imran stole from her accounts, draining savings meant for their future. By August 2021, Amira had enough. Pregnant now, she confided in Lena. She wanted out. Another police report followed. More abuse, more threats. Officers urged her to leave. Amira gathered evidence quietly. Voice recordings of his tirades, bank statements showing thefts. She met a divorce lawyer, steps toward freedom. Imran sensed the shift, his control slipping. Desperation brewed. What drove him to such shadows? Greed? Jealousy? Or a soul twisted beyond repair? To ease the strain, or so he claimed, Imran suggested a romantic getaway to Edinburgh in September 2021. Amira agreed, wary but hopeful for one last chance at peace. They checked into a cozy hotel, strolled the historic streets. On September 2nd, as dusk fell, he proposed a hike up Arthur's Seat, the ancient volcano offering panoramic views of the city lights twinkling like distant stars. Amira hesitated, afraid of heights. "Trust me," Imran urged, his hand firm on her back. They climbed the winding path, wind whipping through the grass, the air crisp and alive with possibility. At the summit, the scene was breathtaking. Edinburgh sprawled below, a sea of glowing windows against the darkening sky. Amira paused to catch her breath, her hand on her belly, feeling the life within. Then, in a flash of betrayal, it happened. Imran's hands met her back, shoving hard. Amira plummeted 50 feet, her scream swallowed by the gale as her body crashed against unforgiving stone. Pain exploded. Broken bones, internal wounds. Blood pooled, but she clung to consciousness. A passerby, Sophia Ahmed, heard the cries and rushed over. Amira, gasping, repeated her truth. "He pushed me." Officer Mia Thompson arrived soon after, leaning close. Again, those damning words sealed Imran's fate. Emergency crews swarmed the hill, sirens piercing the night. Amira was airlifted to hospital, but it was too late. She and her unborn child succumbed to multiple blunt force injuries. Imran, feigning shock, told police a tragic slip. He'd bumped her accidentally while helping with a selfie. But doubts mounted fast. Why no remorse in his eyes? Investigators dug in, piecing together a pattern of torment. Back in Leeds, Lena Patel's world shattered with a phone call. "My daughter, my everything," she later said, voice breaking. Amira's family rallied, vowing justice. Police searched their home, uncovering Amira's hidden recordings, Imran's voice snarling threats, demanding money. Bank records showed thousands siphoned. His phone revealed sinister searches. "How long does it take to die from a fall?" and "Arthur's Seat fatal accidents." The noose tightened. As word spread, the public reeled. How could this happen in a place of beauty? Amira's colleagues spoke of her brilliance, her fight for the vulnerable. Her friends recalled her laughter, her plans for motherhood. Imran, arrested for murder, maintained innocence, a loving husband, devastated by loss. But evidence stacked against him. Those dying words, etched in reports, became irrefutable. The trial loomed at Edinburgh's High Court in April 2023. Prosecutors painted Imran as a monster, driven by control and fear of divorce. Witnesses took the stand, Sophia Ahmed recounting Amira's plea, Officer Thompson confirming the accusation. Lena Patel testified through tears, detailing the abuse Amira confided. She was trapped, she said, but brave enough to seek help. Audio played in court, Imran's rants echoing, jurors shifting uncomfortably. Imran's defense claimed accident, a momentary stumble, but the jury saw through it. After deliberations, they returned, guilty of murder. Judge Harlan Reed, stern-faced, sentenced him to life, minimum 20 years. A wicked crime, the judge declared, noting Imran's lack of regret. Amira trusted him. He exploited it. In prison, Imran serves his time, appeals dismissed. Amira's legacy endures. Her family unveiled a memorial bench at Arthur's Seat on September 2, 2024, 3 years after the tragedy. Inscribed with hope, it stands for victims of domestic violence. Lena advocates now, speaking at events, urging awareness. Amira's story saves lives, she says. A Channel 4 documentary, aired March 2024, chronicled the case, Amira's voice recordings bringing her back, exposing the horror. Viewers watched, hearts heavy, as the truth clawed free. Amira became a beacon, her final words a weapon against silence. She lived for her child, fought for freedom. What legacy does betrayal leave? Strength in those left behind. Don't forget Amira. Like this video, subscribe, and share her story. Together, we honor the fallen. The courtroom in Edinburgh's High Court buzzed with tension as the trial of Imran Khan began in April 2023. Amira Hussein's final words, "He pushed me," hung over the proceedings like a storm cloud demanding justice. The prosecution, led by a sharp-eyed advocate named Clara Reed, laid out a chilling case. Imran wasn't the grieving husband he played for police cameras, tears dry as desert sand. He was a manipulator, a man whose need for control spiraled into murder. Reed's voice cut through the room. This was no accident. Imran Khan planned to end his wife's life to keep his secrets buried. The gallery leaned forward, hearts pounding. What kind of man could orchestrate such evil? Evidence piled up like bricks in a wall. Amira's recordings, recovered from a hidden folder on her phone, played for the jury. Imran's voice, venomous, barking orders, mocking her dreams of leaving. "You'll never walk away," he sneered in one clip, the words icy enough to chill the room. Bank statements showed he'd drained £4,000 from her account, funneling it into failed bets and unpaid loans. His internet history was damning. Searches for fatal falls from cliffs and Arthur Seat accidents dated weeks before the trip. Reed held up a photo of Amira, radiant and pregnant, and asked, "Why would a loving husband research death by falling?" The jury's faces tightened, suspicion growing. Witnesses brought the tragedy to life. Sophia Ahmed, the passerby who found Amira, took the stand, her voice trembling but clear. She was barely breathing, blood everywhere, but she kept saying, "He pushed me. She needed me to know." Officer Mia Thompson followed, recounting how Amira, fading fast, repeated the accusation with her last strength. Lena Patel, Amira's mother, broke down, describing the secret code, "I feel like cream cakes," that Amira never got to send that day. "My daughter was fighting to live, to protect her baby," Lena said, tears streaking her face. The courtroom fell silent, the weight of her grief suffocating. Imran's defense team scrambled, painting him as a flawed but innocent man. Their lead, Simon Carter, argued a tragic mishap. "Imran slipped on loose gravel, bumping Amira by mistake," Carter claimed, gesturing wildly. He pointed to the selfie stick found at the scene, suggesting a clumsy photo attempt gone wrong. But the jury wasn't buying it. Why no call for help? Why no panic in his voice when police arrived? Imran sat stone-faced, his charm useless now. Reed countered with forensic evidence. Amira's injuries, fractured spine, shattered pelvis, matched a deliberate push, not a stumble. A pathologist testified the force required was intentional.
Outside the court, Amira's story gripped the public. Vigils sprang up in Leeds, candles flickering for a woman who fought for others. Her colleagues at the law firm shared stories of her kindness, how she'd stay late to help clients, how she'd planned a nursery with yellow walls for her unborn child. Social media buzzed with outrage. How could abuse hide so close to home? If Amira's courage moves you, don't let her fight be forgotten. Smash that like button and subscribe to keep her story alive. The trial's climax came on day 6. Reed revealed a bombshell. Imran had taken out a £50,000 life insurance policy on Amira 2 months before the trip. Gasps rippled through the court. "This was no impulse," Reed said. "Imran saw his wife and child as a payout." The jury deliberated for just 4 hours. On April 14, 2023, they returned, guilty of murder. Judge Harlan Reed's voice was steel. "You exploited her trust, her fear of heights, to stage a cold-blooded killing." Imran got life, minimum 20 years. Lena clutched a photo of Amira, whispering, "We did it, my girl." As Imran was led away, the courtroom exhaled. Justice felt bittersweet. Amira was gone, her baby never born, but her voice had won. What drives someone to such betrayal? Greed, control, or a heart too broken to feel? Her family vowed to keep fighting, turning pain into purpose. The guilty verdict echoed through the Edinburgh courtroom, but for Amira Hussein's family, it was only the start of carrying her light forward. Lena Patel, her mother, stood outside the High Court, clutching a worn photo of Amira, smiling in her lawyer's blazer. "She was my heart, my fighter," Lena said to reporters, her voice steady despite the tears. "This isn't the end. She'll live through us." The crowd, gathered under a gray Scottish sky, nodded solemnly. Justice had been served, but the scars of betrayal ran deep. How does a family rebuild when love turns to murder? In the weeks after the April 2023 conviction, Imran Khan's facade crumbled further. Behind bars, he filed an appeal, claiming the jury was swayed by emotion, not fact. But the evidence, Amira's recordings, his damning internet searches, the life insurance policy, was ironclad. The appeal was tossed out in July 2023, judges calling his case a desperate bid to dodge responsibility. Prison reports painted him as unrepentant, isolated, his charm useless in a cell. Former friends, interviewed by local papers, admitted they'd missed red flags, his temper, his obsession with appearances. "They fooled us all," one said, shaking his head. The public's anger grew. How had he hidden such darkness? Amira's legacy, though, burned brighter. In Leeds, her community rallied. Her law firm launched a scholarship in her name, funding young women pursuing justice careers. Amira fought for the underdog, her boss Nadia Wells told a memorial event. "Her spirit drives us still." At home, Lena and Amira's father, Tariq, pored over her old journals, finding pages of dreams, a safe home, a child raised in love. They channeled their grief into action, partnering with a domestic violence charity. Lena began speaking at schools, sharing Amira's story to teach teens about spotting abuse early. "She left clues," Lena said, holding up Amira's recorded evidence. "Listen to them." The tragedy's ripple effect reached beyond family. Sophia Ahmed, the passerby who heard Amira's dying words, struggled with nightmares but found purpose. She trained as a crisis counselor, determined to help others in danger. "Amira gave me her truth," Sophia said at a vigil. "I'll carry it forward." Officer Mia Thompson, too, was changed. She pushed for better police training on domestic abuse, citing Amira's ignored reports. "We need to act faster," she told a conference, her voice firm. The system had failed Amira once. It couldn't again.
By September 2024, Arthur Seat bore a new mark of hope. On the 3rd anniversary of Amira's death, her family unveiled a memorial bench at the hill's base, its plaque reading, "For Amira and her child, your light endures." Visitors left flowers, notes, and prayers, turning a place of horror into one of healing. Lena sat there often, feeling closer to her daughter. She loved this view, she said, gazing at Edinburgh's skyline. The bench became a quiet symbol, a reminder that love could outlast betrayal. Media amplified Amira's voice. A Channel 4 documentary, The Fall That Broke the Silence, aired in March 2024, gripping viewers with Amira's recordings and Lena's raw grief. Clips showed her colleagues weeping, recounting her kindness, while reenactments of the cliffside moment chilled audiences. Social media exploded with hashtags, #Justice for Amira, #Break the Silence. Viewers posted, "How do we stop this?" sparking debates on abuse and accountability. The documentary won an award, its director dedicating it to every woman who speaks out. Back in Leeds, Tariq turned Amira's old room into a sanctuary, keeping her books and photos untouched. He found a sketch she'd drawn, a crib with yellow curtains. She was ready to be a mother, he whispered. The family's pain fueled their mission. They lobbied for stricter laws on coercive control, citing Amira's stolen savings and Imran's threats.
By early 2025, their work helped pass a local policy mandating faster police response to domestic violence calls. Lena called it Amira's Law, a bittersweet victory. What does it take to turn tragedy into change? For Amira's loved ones, it meant refusing silence. Her story, etched in court records and hearts, became a warning and a promise. Abuse thrives in shadows, but truth can break free. The ripples of Amira Hussein's story continued to spread, touching lives far beyond the courtroom and the memorial bench at Arthur's Seat. In Leeds, her family's fight for change gained momentum, fueled by a fierce determination to ensure no one else suffered as she had. Lena Patel, Amira's mother, stood before a crowded community center in October 2024, her voice steady but heavy with purpose. "My daughter's last words were a weapon against her killer," she said, holding up a photo of Amira, her smile bright against the somber room. The audience, a mix of activists, survivors, and locals, erupted in applause. Amira's courage was no longer just a memory, it was a movement. How do you honor a woman whose truth outlived her life? Lena's advocacy grew relentless. She partnered with Women's Aid, a UK charity, to launch workshops on recognizing coercive control, patterns like Imran's monitoring of Amira's phone, his theft of her savings, his suffocating demands. "It starts small," she told attendees, her eyes scanning young faces. A comment, a restriction, then it's a fist or worse. She shared Amira's recordings, now public through the documentary, as a stark lesson. One teen, visibly shaken, approached Lena after a session. "I'm in a bad relationship," she whispered. Lena helped her find a shelter, a direct echo of Amira's own plea for help. By early 2025, Lena's workshops had reached over 2,000 people across Yorkshire, saving countless lives from the shadows of abuse. Tariq, Amira's father, found his own way to keep her alive. He poured his grief into a community garden behind their Leeds home, planting roses, Amira's favorite, in her honor. Neighbors joined, turning it into a sanctuary where survivors could heal. "She loved life," Tariq said, dirt smudged on his hands as he worked. "This is her light growing." The garden became a gathering place for vigils, where stories of Amira's kindness mingled with calls for justice. A local school named its library after her, stocking it with books on law and empowerment. "She'd be proud," Tariq said, as he placed a rose on the library's opening plaque. If Amira's strength inspires you to stand against silence, don't let her legacy fade. Smash that like button and subscribe to keep her story alive. Join our community to uncover truths that change lives.
The broader impact of Amira's case reshaped systems. Officer Mia Thompson, haunted by Amira's ignored police reports, pushed for reform. She spearheaded a 2024 training program for West Yorkshire Police, focusing on spotting domestic abuse early. Amira reported twice, Mia told trainees, her voice firm. "We didn't act fast enough." The program, rolled out region-wide, taught officers to recognize subtle signs, financial control, emotional manipulation as red flags. By February 2025, response times to domestic calls dropped by 20%, a statistic Lena called Amira's gift to others. Mia, now a sergeant, wore a small rose pin on her uniform, a quiet tribute. Sophia Ahmed, the passerby who heard Amira's dying words, became an advocate too. She spoke at national conferences, her story gripping audiences. "I held her hand," Sophia recounted, her voice breaking. "She trusted me with her truth." Her work with crisis hotlines helped dozens escape abusive homes, each call a step toward redemption. Sophia visited the Arthur's Seat bench often, leaving notes for Amira. "You're saving people," she whispered, the wind carrying her words across the hill. The media kept Amira's story burning. The Channel 4 documentary, The Fall That Broke the Silence, was rebroadcast in late 2024, drawing millions. It detailed Imran's calculated betrayal, his insurance policy, his cliffside searches, and Amira's bravery in documenting her abuse. Online, #AmiraHussein trended, with survivors sharing their own escapes. One post read, "She gave me courage to leave." The documentary's director, speaking at a London panel, said, "Amira's voice is louder than her killer's lies." Clips of Lena's testimony, raw and unflinching, went viral, sparking debates on why abuse persists undetected. In prison, Imran Khan faded into obscurity. Reports described him as withdrawn, his appeals exhausted. A 2025 prison review noted he attended no rehabilitation programs, showing no remorse. "He's a shell," a guard told a local paper anonymously. His family, once vocal, grew silent, shamed by his actions. Meanwhile, Amira's family grew louder. They lobbied for Amira's law to gain national traction, pushing for mandatory abuse education in schools. "Kids need to know what's not love," Lena said at a rally, her voice fierce. What does it mean to turn pain into power? For Amira's loved ones, it was a vow to break cycles of silence. Her story, carved into benches, laws, and hearts, became a beacon for the voiceless. As Amira Hussein's story echoed across communities, it became a clarion call, a refusal to let her death be just another statistic. In Leeds, the rose garden behind her family's home bloomed vibrant by spring 2025, each petal a testament to her life. Lena Patel, her mother, knelt there one chilly morning, tucking a new flower into the soil. "This is for you, my girl," she whispered, her breath fogging in the air. The garden had grown into a haven, drawing survivors and supporters who left handwritten notes tied to stems. "Amira, you saved me." Lena read each one, her heart heavy but resolute. The fight for justice wasn't just about a courtroom verdict, it was about rewriting the future. How do you keep a legacy alive when the one who sparked it is gone?